Welcome back, everyone, to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their own unique spiritual journey stories, including the paranormal and supernatural. If you would like to come on the show and be yourself and tell your stories, absolutely. Email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And don't forget to click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons below. Well, let's get going. We have a wonderful guest for you today. So, welcome to the show, and I'll hand the mic right on over to you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's ever going to be watching or listening to this podcast. My name is Diane Haworth, and I am a spiritual teacher. I call myself a heart-centered success coach. I'm the founder of the Be Love Principles. And most importantly, I'm just a mom, an entrepreneur, a grandmother. I'm someone that's just tried to figure life out, just like everybody else. And that's actually what started me on my spiritual journey.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and start up. Tell us about how you got into it and how you got to where you are.
So I think my story's like a lot of people, and that is I just wanted to do the right thing at the right time in the right way, right? I tried to be a good student and a good daughter. Um, I read books, I went to church, I watched Oprah, I went to workshops. And what I realized while I met wonderful people, had a lot of interesting experiences, there just felt like something was missing. I just felt like, Dana, it was like everybody got a memo, but I didn't get it. I just didn't get it that day. Everybody kind of knew something, and I felt that there was something missing. And what I realized looking back on my life now is that the more that I tried to find satisfaction, purpose, joy from things external to me, right, in my job and even in my family and anything like that, that's where that emptiness came from. So it was when I learned to meditate and when I really started going inside and connecting to what I believe is that divine wisdom within all of us. That's when it was like, oh, this is what love is. It's not, I love my slippers, I love spaghetti, I love my kids. Those are different kinds of love. There is an energy that I identify as love. Some people call it God, spirit, universe. To me, it is the expansive, creative, intelligent energy that makes flowers bloom and that makes the tides come in and out and creates galaxies. And what I figured out is if this energy being, whatever you want to call it, if it can create galaxies, it probably could help me figure out what the heck is going on in my life. So that gave me a new perspective, actually.
That's a very good point. Yeah. I mean, got to be able to do something with us, each of us, right?
If we are that energy, if we come from that energy, which is what my belief system is, I've what has been revealed to me, and I really think that what's so wonderful about shows like yours is we get to see the facets of this beautiful jewel that we call life and spirit and spirituality even. And each of us have just this our own way to sparkle. And this just happens to be mine. This what I now know has been a lifelong quest to understand the real way that not only we can feel loved, but how we can be loved, how we can actually live as best we can, moment to moment, day by day, understanding we're human, right? But how can we be love in the world? That that's exciting and that is fun. It's a lot more fun than people think it is, right?
So,
They
why
don't
don't
think
you
it sounds like a lot of fun, but it really is.
So why don't you explain some of the experiences you've had that has given you this fantastic feel?
Well, 40 years ago now, when I was pregnant with my first daughter, my first child, my daughter, I became very ill. And actually, she was delivered 12 weeks early, which 40 years ago was a big thing. It's a big thing now. but it was a big thing 40 years ago. She was only 2 pounds. It was very traumatic. I was very ill, and I actually had a near-death experience during that episode, that event. I do want to say my daughter's fine, by the way.
Yay.
But yeah, yay. But what I realized was having that near-death experience and being in that energy of all there is, I never, from that day forward, was afraid to die. I didn't want to suffer, have to be honest, don't want to be sick or suffer, but I wasn't afraid to die. I realized there was something much more than this, and that I was connected to it, you're connected to it, we're all connected to it. So that was really such a comfort to me going through life. And I experienced things like everybody else did. There were deaths in our family. I had a divorce. There were financial ups and downs. Just life happened, right? But
Yeah.
that one episode really cemented things for me. In that same event, because I was in the hospital for a couple weeks with her, actually, and she had to be in the hospital for many weeks. I had a visit from an angel, what I now think of as an angel. Nobody saw this person but me. My daughter had been born at this point. She was on a different floor in the hospital called the NICU unit. And remember, 40 years ago, there was no internet. There were no, you didn't go to the library and get a book on the NICU unit. What the heck was a neonatal intensive care unit? I didn't have any reason to know that. It all
Right.
happened really very fast. When I went to see my daughter, I couldn't even see her till really almost 24 hours after she was born because I was so ill and she was on this other floor. She she wasn't doing great. Again, she was in the NICU unit. She was 2 pounds. My husband at the time and I, her dad, came back to my room, and we saw two doctors came in, and I could tell by their face that it wasn't good news. And they told us that there had been a bleed in the head with our daughter, our baby, and that they didn't know what that meant. They didn't know what kind of damage it could be. Oh, it still gets me 40 years later.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just lost it. And my husband, who had been at my side the whole time, he just couldn't take it. And he left the room, which was perfect because I was the only one in there. I am crying hysterically. And here comes this woman. I can see her to this day. She comes to the doorway of my room and she says, I saw you in the NICU unit. And she said, I'm a mother. I have a little boy. We're from Roanoke, which is another town here in Virginia, a city in Virginia. And I saw you, and I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's going to be okay. See, it's getting me. She said, what you need to do is take it day by day. And when that's too much, you take it hour by hour. And when that's too much, you just hold on moment by moment. And I promise you everything will be okay. And then she turned around and left. She never came into the room. She turned around and left.
Hmm.
So when my husband came back, he had gone to the cafeteria. I said, we got to go back to the NICU unit because I wanted to see her and thank her. I had immediately felt comfort. And I just can't imagine, I just can't explain to you what came over me hearing her and seeing her. I knew exactly what she
Yeah.
wore. I knew exactly what she looked like. I went to the NICU unit and said, I'm looking for this lady. She looks like this. She's got a little boy from Roanoke. And they said, there's nobody here like that. We don't have any little boys from Roanoke here. And I said, oh, yeah, I just saw her. She's wearing jeans. This is what her top looks like. And they said, no, we don't have anybody here like that.
Oh, wow.
So that was another thing that just
Wow.
helped me understand, seen or unseen, we are supported and loved, not only in traumatic times like that, but all the time. I just think
Yeah.
maybe we pay more attention. We
I
pay
wish I
more
was
attention.
closer to you. I wanted to give you a hug.
Oh, it's really happy tears. I mean,
Oh,
really, it's
yeah.
happy tears. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I mean, my family thought I was nuts, by the way. They just thought it was medication. It was not medication. It
No.
was not
No.
medication. There was such comfort and grace in that encounter. And I think that all of those things set me up for what happened later in life. I certainly didn't go to school and go, I'm going to be a spiritual teacher. No, it's not what that actually wasn't even on the checklist they gave us back in junior high school. Didn't exist.
Right.
Ballerina, artist, teacher, nurse, it's a short list back in those days when I was
Right.
at school. But nothing that
Exactly.
I'm doing now. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
But after that, going through my life, I learned to meditate. That opened up a whole new avenue of depth and understanding and really curiosity, which, Dana, I have to say, this is what I love about you and people who have shows like this. It's your curiosity and your passion to share stories that help so many people. So let me just take this opportunity to say thank you for that, because this is a big
Oh,
thing.
thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, I love
It's a
to hear
big thing.
people's stories because I mean, it's very helpful because you learn such different things from each story, and everybody has kind of the same story, but it's absolutely different. And it's just so great to just, I don't know, just hear it. And it's
I
just
tell my
good.
clients, because I'm a coach, and one of the things that I tell them is love is like ice cream. You can, in the old days, when I was little, you could go into one of these stores and they had like 33 flavors of ice cream. It was all ice cream, but they were different flavors. We
Mhm.
all have a flavor of love. And this is my flavor. As a result of, I think, all the things that happened in my life, I actually, through meditation, had an experience where I believe I got a direct divine download and was given a process that I now call the Be Love Principles.
There you go. Yeah. Can you explain that?
I can. And the first thing I wanted to share is that there's nothing special about me. And by that, I mean, tapping into that inner divine it's the birthright of all of us. This isn't anything special. I believe for me specifically, having meditated for so many years helped it. And my curiosity helped open me to this experience. But about 6 months before this event, which was in May of 2018, 6 months before that occurred, I had literally been praying, show me how to serve. Show me how to be an instrument of your peace. But can I be honest with you? Like, I thought maybe I
Absolutely.
would go down to the pound, pet some puppies. Maybe I would, do something like that. I figured I would get some direction, but I really wasn't looking for anything earth-shattering. What
Yeah.
happened, and all of this is on my website, people can see the whole story. But what happened was, in a meditation in a group setting, actually, I had a vision, a full-bodied vision. I heard things, I saw things, I felt things. And through a series of visions, it was one vision, but these scenes, I was given 4 principles on how to be loved. The question I had asked at the beginning of this meditation I did was love, which to me is God, universe, spirit, right? What do you most want me to know today? And that's something I had journaled with a long time. Love, what do you most want me to know today? And right away, I heard, be love. And then I had this vision, and what ended up was the way to be loved, the way I was told to be loved, was 4 principles. And I'll share those with you now, if that's okay.
Definitely. If you're all up for it, let's do it.
I am up for it because this is now my
Yay.
passion. So, first
Awesome.
principle, greet everyone with an open heart without an agenda. And I'll say that again. Greet everyone with an open heart without an agenda. Principle 2, see the divine essence in everyone and everything. And again, that was see the divine essence in everyone and everything. The third principle is forgive quickly, completely, and unconditionally. I have to say that's usually not my client's favorite, but that is an important,
Yeah.
that's the most important one. That's
I have
forgive
to say,
quickly.
I'm there on that one.
Yeah, so
That's
was
tough.
I, right?
Yeah.
Quickly, completely, and unconditionally. And then the last principle was remember you are the light. You never left the light of the all. Remember you are the light. You never left the light of the all. So I understand people are hearing this probably for the first time, and I'm sure we'll have them in the notes, and certainly you can get all kinds of resources from my website. I even have little videos on each of these in addition to the video that explains everything. But what I found is just like with most things in life, these are simple but profound, and they can be absolutely life-changing. Each principle individually, like let's just talk about that for a second. When I first got these, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I literally, because I was in a big group, I thought somebody had spiked my coffee because it was like a hallucination. I didn't, and I even got sick for like a week afterwards and lost my voice.
Wow.
This was a huge thing, huge energetic jolt to my system, my physical system. And I had to actually kind of get back online to understand. And when I sat with spirit, with God, with love, and said, like, I don't even know what to do with this. What what am I supposed to do with this? I was guided to take each principle one by one and practice one for an entire week. And I took notes and journals, all kinds of stuff. So now let's just think about this. If everybody that listens to this was even remotely interested in intending for a week, start with a day, but I'd love for you to try to do it for a week, to greet everyone with an open heart, without an agenda, without judgment, without any kind of preconceived notions, good or bad, right? Because if you're
Right.
looking at someone, oh, I love that person, they're XYZ, you're seeing your assessment of them, you're not seeing them.
Right.
That was a weird thing for me to figure out.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, it's if somebody that is maybe not be the most fond of, then it would be like, okay, let me try to do this. But as I've worked with this over the years, I realized love is like the sun. It shines on everyone and everything, and it shines from everyone and everything. So when I could be really conscious, how could I greet somebody? And most of these greetings are done inside your own mind, right? I'm not going down the line of the grocery store going, I greet you with love. I greet you with love. I mean, I'm not doing that. But I was consciously doing my best to be more open. And I was catching all the times I would judge someone. Oh, they're getting that, bananas, they're not organic, or whatever crazy thing I thought in my head. And it was so alarming to really recognize what had been going on in my head. But Dana,
Yeah.
you know what the most alarming thing was?
Tell me, tell me.
And this is what I would really suggest everybody do. It was when I realized what I was thinking about myself. I started greeting myself in the morning in the mirror without looking at gray in my hair or wrinkles on my face or whatever baggage I had from 30 years ago, whatever I didn't do, right? I was a
Right,
teenager.
right.
That was eye opening. That was eye opening. So I think you can see how this would really be a powerful practice, just this one.
Yeah. I feel like I've adjusted pretty well for myself. I have the situation with others of greeting them, like you're saying, greeting them with the love. And It is so hard. I mean, I know I do it. I know I shouldn't do it. And it's so hard. The ego just jumps in and just takes over. And it's so hard.
You know,
So
I appreciate you being that honest because you're speaking for everybody. I don't think that I
hard.
got the Be Love principles because I was great at this. I think I got it because I needed the most help, right? I was open, but I was the chick that needed some help.
Yeah.
And even what I realized over time was a couple things, not only with other people, but we hold judgments and we hold perspectives, right? We have agendas about events, about political parties, about organizations. I mean, this is like way bigger than I realized. I'm glad that it took me a few years to really wrap my head around this because it's big.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. And that's a point. I mean, I don't think people really think about like um just buildings or events, like you're saying. That is, I don't think people would think about that very often.
I
I
didn't,
think, yeah, I would have. I think of, okay, there's other people and there's me, but to think of an activity or just a event or, yeah, how interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
it's a big thing and it came from using the principles. I mean, I was committed, right? I'm passionate about doing this. The other thing that I figured out is as powerful as the principles are individually, when they are used in sequence, man, it is really something. So for example, I led a group. I've taught this on stage, on Zoom, in classes to individuals, all to places all over the world. And I was in a relatively small group of some very powerful, wonderful people. They happened to be women, and we were in a mastermind group. And there was a healer that was part of this group. And I led them through a meditation where I asked them to choose a focus person or event, something where they had some discord, right? They had some kind of an issue with it. And what I had them do was not tell me, but just mentally rate from 1 to 10 how much, how uncomfortable they were with that situation. 10 is the worst, 1 is I don't have a problem at all. And then I led them through a meditation. And basically, I took them through the principles with this focus person in mind or event. I would tell them to ask after we connected, how do I greet this person or event with an open heart without an agenda? And then we went down the line. How do I see this person or event as a divine essence? What I figured out is once you've done the first two, the forgiveness piece is a lot, I wouldn't say it's easier, but it goes a little more smoothly. And with the forgiveness piece, I want to make sure everybody understands you don't have to forgive anybody or anything. That is up to you. However, what
Just
I've
mainly
found,
on yourself, isn't it? It's just that's more of a personal thing of letting you release that situation. Am
it's
I
always
correct?
about you, right? It's always about you. What I've found when people have undergone horrific events, and we're talking uh, horrific abuse, right? Sometimes it's really natural that they would want to keep a resentment because it makes them feel safe. You and I know, and lots of folks know, especially if you've been able to go through a forgiveness opportunity, that you're the one that's released when that energy is released with forgiveness. If people are not ready to forgive, then I will ask them to go inside and ask, what would it feel like if I was ready to forgive? So we would what kind of work through it that way. And then at that last one with the light, I have people envision that they are in this beautiful light. And if they feel comfortable with it, they can invite the person or a symbol of whatever this event was that was distressing them into the light with them. That's it. And it's not to say somebody shouldn't be punished if there's some legal ramification somebody needs to be taken to, do what you need to do. This is all about your essence, their essence, not what our personality does. Well, in this scenario that I was just explaining to you, we had a little share after the exercise. And this one lady told me that she had been very, very hurt about whatever had happened in this event that she used as her focus. And that she had used all kinds of different techniques. She'd done healing, she'd done all kinds of things. But this was the first time she could ever see the events from a perspective other than her own. And it had
Wow.
opened her up to a different meaning. So to me, the magic of the principles is that it takes you from a constricted ego or personality view, which is always constricted, to a more expanded divine view. That's the magic of the Be Love principles.
What a beautiful way to live, though. I mean, to not have the regret or anger or resentment or anything like that towards anybody. Wow. Or an
I'm
event
sure
or,
it would be.
you know,
I'm not there yet, but I'm sure it will be. And I think that's a big thing too. We're human.
yeah.
We're human. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a bracelet that says Be Love Principles. And I can't tell you how many times my husband had said, look at your bracelet.
Wow.
Okay. Because we're human. And I mean, I do this
Yeah.
every day. And still my little human comes up here. But to me, if we can intend to live as fully human and fully divine, man, that to me is where life is a beautiful adventure.
That's just raising everyone's vibration, raising the vibration on earth. That's going to bring all the events and everything to a non-judgment point of view. And that's awesome. Wow.
It is really amazing. And one of the things that I found, and I really am glad that you brought up the vibration piece, is that you can feel yourself shift, right? When you go from resentment to even to that relaxation of forgiveness. What I
Yeah.
have found is that, our bodies have energy in them. We're energy beings.
Right.
And what I realized was in the past, energy that I had been focusing on resentments or stress of overwhelm, whatever it is, that's that much less energy than I had in this human container for love, for joy, for happiness, for everything we want. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a
Yeah.
closet. You might want this new spring wardrobe, but you got to take some stuff out first. That's how
Yeah.
it makes sense to me.
And when you talk about your meditations and all, the meditations I do, they kind of talk about that where you inhale all this love and then you exhale all that doesn't serve you, so that all that love that comes in is being filled up on that space that has been let loose.
That's exactly the way that I see it. Matter of fact, on the website, we have free resources, including meditations. One of them, I can't remember what it's called, but one of the meditations talks about inhaling that love and light, right? That last principle is all about light. And we know that from a mystical perspective, light was an indication of knowledge. And I love to remind my students, right? We pick up these cell phones all the time. And we think, we can literally Google anything and we'll
Right.
know it in a second. Why wouldn't you think you could Google God? Why wouldn't you think that this
Yeah.
works with light pinging off a satellite or something like that? We're light beings. We have access to that light. And what I was told is we never left the light of the all. That, I mean,
Yeah.
that is powerful.
Yeah. And I hear people that talk of, okay, well, we're all God, right? We are all the source. We are all part of the light. I've come up with this analogy that I think it works. It's kind of weird, but it works. But I think of it as, okay, here is God. Here's the all powerful, all knowing, all this wonderful being. And this being sneezes. And when he sneezes, all those little particles are us. It's everything that is all part of God. It's part of him is that sneeze. And I don't know. It's just something I
So
came
can
up
I
with
tell
that
you, I've been doing this for 30 years and that's the coolest explanation I ever heard. Like that, I'm going to remember that forever. That's,
just
that's,
it makes the
it's
sense though. It's part of that's spread out through it. Whatever. I mean, there's so much
everywhere.
space. Yeah. That has exploded into. And just thinking of the particles that we'd sneeze out, I mean, it's like, but coming from the Holy One, wow.
How great is that? You know, Neil Donald Walsh said one time, I heard him on an interview say the most beautiful thing in regards to the oneness. He said that when he would be walking down a street and he would observe people, he would say, "That's me expressing as a little child. That's me expressing as a tree. That's me expressing as a homeless person." So, this idea that we are all, that sneeze went into everything, the oceans, the trees, the ants, the bugs, the birds. It's
Everything.
all part of God.
And we are
Yeah,
God and we are
we
each
are God.
other. And that's what's kind of cool about what you just said is we are other people. We are them.
Yes.
We're just sharing the light.
We are sharing
Wow.
the light and we can be reflections for each other. And sometimes what is reflected to me is an aspect of myself that I don't want to look at. But if I see it, it's like, wait a second. I wonder what I'm looking at right here. And it gives me some introspection then. And that's something I can take to the principles. Like, how can
Yeah.
I see this situation, this person, whatever it is? Um, and that's been a wonderful growth edge. And can I tell you something that's been really fun? We
Go
think
for
of
it.
tools like this as a way to manage challenges. I've had clients that have used
Mm.
it. We've worked together for health challenges or getting new jobs or all kinds of relationships because life is all relationships, whatever it is. What it
Yeah.
took me a while to figure out was that even when we have a wonderful event, like the birth of a child, a grandchild, a new job, a new whatever, you just wrote a new book, you've got a new podcast. If we bring that to the principles, we can see beyond our human limited view of whatever that wonderful thing is or was. Even that expands.
Like for the podcast here is it's getting out to so many other people and raising that vibration. So the
See,
love of a baby coming in, the vibration that we have with that baby coming in spreads out to other people, right?
absolutely. And you just don't know. And that's part of the fun. I used to think, well, I want to know, like, who sees the podcast, who does this, who does that. Wouldn't it be great to know? It's fun not to know, actually. It's fun
Yeah.
just to trust whoever's supposed to see this is going to see it and
Yeah.
trust that it will land with and resonate with whoever it is intended to serve. To me, that's really exciting.
Yeah. And I think that's a good spot to end at because it's beautiful. So whoever sees this video, sees any of my videos or sees any of her work, this is meant to be, meant to be. Yeah. So if anyone out there has your own stories like this and would like to be yourself and share them, and it could be supernatural, it could be paranormal, it's all open. And email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And thank you, everyone, for being with us. And thank you for being the guest today.
Thank you so much. We love you all.
Bye, everyone.